Good morning and welcome to Market Stats. So today, what are we going to be doing? We're going to be looking at market stats that are posted on our website, right? This month was dedicated to Free from Miami. And if at any point in time you want to see what is free for our Miami members, you can go to miamirealtors.com/free from Miami. And you're going to see this page with tons of products and services that are free from Miami, or maybe sometimes they're even exclusive just to Miami. So you only get it as part of or being part of Miami. So everything is here on Free from Miami, and this page is always available. So anytime you want to see this, you can go to miamirealtors.com/free from Miami. All right, so today we are going to be focusing on the market stats that we have on our website. We actually email you every month once those stats are ready to go. It's called the Market Focus. So make sure that you've subscribed to our emails and make sure that you are, sometimes our emails might get flagged as spam. Make sure that you have saved it so that it isn't spam. If you need to resubscribe for whatever reason, you can scroll down to the bottom of our homepage and it says subscribe to Miami emails right down here. Okay, so if you think you're not getting the emails and you want to resubscribe, you absolutely can. So we're going to go through those market stats that we have here on our website that we give our members for free. We're going to also go into Sun Stats from Florida Realtors. So that is also free. Remember that your membership to Miami means that you are a member of the local association, which is Miami. You're a member of Florida Realtors, which is the state association, and you are a member of National Association of Realtors, which also grants you access to certain products. So after we're done with Sun Stats, we'll jump into Matrix. I'm going to show you how to pull some market stats there, some production reports, some stats, because they do have an entire section in Matrix dedicated to the stats. And then I am also going to show you the market watch and the hot sheets. It's another way for you to keep an eye on your markets or on a market. Then we'll jump into RPR, which stands for Realtor Property Resource. There's a few classes dedicated to RPR, specifically RPR Residential, RPR Commercial, and RPR is from National Association of Realtors. So it's one of those products you get as a member of NAR. So we'll finish up with RPR. As mentioned, I'll try to give you a break in between just to make sure that we get a nice little stretch in so that we can keep moving forward. All right, so let's start with the market stats that we give you on a monthly basis. If you go to miamirealtors.com and you click on news, okay, you'll see that it says South Florida market stats right here. And then you can go ahead and click on it and see those stats. But we also have market snapshot. So if I click on that, we have our market focus video, which we do email to you, and it is going to be on the Miami Realtors YouTube channel. And then you also have the market snapshot infographic. Okay, so if I click on that, this infographic, you can go ahead and screenshot it and post it on your social media. Maybe you want to include it in your newsletters. Maybe you want to include it in your listing presentations. Whatever the case may be, this is here for you. And you are more than welcome to use those infographics. The video is also available if you want just a little explanation of the market focus and those market stats. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to play this.
This is your Miami Market Focus Report for May 2021. Miami-Dade County total home sales increased 172.6% in May 2021. Single-family home sales rose 85.3%. Condo transactions increased 286.5%. Single-family dollar volume is up 254.7%. Condo dollar volume increased 535.5%. Total active listings are down 42.3%. Single-family homes inventory sits at 2.2 months, a seller's market. Condo inventory is at 6 months, a balanced market. Single-family homes median price is $500,000. Condo median price is $325,000. Short sales and REOs are only 1.7% of all those sales. Access more information about the Miami-Dade County real estate market at sfmarketintel.com.
Okay, so just to show you that it's quick and I can literally sit down at the start of my day, see that the market focus came in, sit down with my cup of coffee, listen to this video, and know a little bit more about what's going on with the market. Also, you can download this. So if you click on download Miami Market Focus video, it gives you the link that you can then use, and maybe you want to embed it in your website. again, or in an email. You can use something like Agent 3000 if you have their CRM, and you can create a video email with this. Okay, you also have the other counties down here, so Broward, Palm Beach, and Martin. But I'm going to go back because if I click on market stats, right, and I can get here through a direct link that we have as well called sfmarketintel.com. So you can get here either by going to news and clicking on South Florida Market Intel, or you can also go to sfmarketintel.com. When you get to this portion, you will see on the right-hand side what month these numbers are for. So specifically, this is for May of 2021. They have it broken down by county and then by single family and then townhomes and condos. So up here at the top, what's in blue is going to be your single family. And then at the bottom, what's in that orange color is going to be based off of townhomes and condos. What we see here is, for example, for Dade County, we see the closed sales that occurred in May. We had 1,300, as opposed to a year ago in 2020, we had 734 closed sales. So the percentage of change, it has increased 85% in the last year. The percentage of sales that occurred that were paid in cash, 24%, a year ago, 16.2%, an increase of 47.9%. Median sale price was at $500,000 in May of 2021. A year ago, it was at $375,000. Okay, so obviously we've seen an increase there. Dollar volume. Look at this. Okay, we are looking at a huge increase in dollar volume. Okay, a 254.7% increase. The percentage of original list price received. So how much of that list price that they were asking for, how much of that did they receive? 99%. A year ago, 96%. Median time to contract, 18 days, a year ago, over a month. So we're seeing a huge change, right? And we can analyze all of this. We also give you the month's supply of inventory. So right now for single family in Dade County, there's 2.2 months of inventory. The way I explain this and the easiest way to wrap your head around it is, let's say the MLS were to shut down tomorrow, based off of what's already in the MLS and based off of how the market has been behaving, it would take about 2 months to sell the listings that are there. So what does this mean? When you're looking at anything from 0 to 6 months of inventory, it's a seller's market, right? It's the simple law of supply and demand. Who holds the power? Those who have the supply, if the supply is lower. So the seller has the power, to seller's market. If it is 6 to 9 months, it's a balanced market. Okay, so anywhere between 6 to 9 months is balanced. If it's 9 months or more, there's a surplus and it's a buyer's market. Okay, so right now, given those numbers, and again, that's 0 to 6 is a seller's market, 6 to 9 is a balanced market, 9 or more is a buyer's is a seller's market. I mean a buyer's market, sorry. What we're looking at here is a seller's market. If we look at the townhomes, again, closed sales, 2,100, almost 2,200. A year ago, only 563. If we look even at the median sale price, look at that. They're at 325. A year ago, they were at 260. Even the dollar volume has increased monumentally. So we're looking at that. Now, that being said, we have 6 months of inventory for condos and townhouses, which puts us in a balanced, it's on the cusp of seller's market / balanced. But look, a year ago, we were at 14 months. So it was a very obvious buyer's market a year ago. If I scroll back up, I can then repeat the process for Broward County, right? We can then also look at Palm Beach, Martin, and St. Lucie. So remember, our MLS is Southeast Florida, so it's Dade, Broward, Palm Beach, Martin, and St. Lucie counties, these 5 counties that you see up here. Now, if I wanted this in a report-friendly format that I could maybe screenshot, again, you have the infographics, or maybe I want to include this in a presentation. If you scroll down, you'll see those reports, and they're titled by county. So for example, you have a summary and a detailed report for, let's go down. I already did Dade County, so let's look at Broward. Okay, so if I look at Broward County single family, it says 2021, 05 is for May. I'm gonna go ahead and click on this. And it's all of the information and a few more details, but it's also got some bar graphs and infographics. So it makes it really nice for your presentations. It makes it really easy for you to add them in. And you can even, maybe brand it up here, put your picture and your office information, but it's all that same information, the closed sales, paid in cash, dollar volume, etc. But here you're also going to see it broken down a little bit more. So new pending sales, new listings, pending inventory, active listings, and months supply of inventory. You're going to have these bar graphs, and these bar graphs are extending back about 4 or 5 years. So you're going to see, and these letters down here are the months of the year. You're going to see the trends, okay, for the last few years. And then on the second page, you have traditional sales, foreclosure and REO, and short sale. And again, you have bar graphs and some line graphs with that information. Again, the letters at the bottom of this, the bar graph or the line graph are going to be the months in those years. I can take this, I can post it, I can save it, I can include it in my listing presentations, I can send it out in my newsletters, whatever you'd like, but this is here for you. This is the summary report, so it's just 2 pages. We also have a detailed report. So on the right-hand side in this column, we have a detailed report. Let me go ahead and pull the same one. Broward County single family homes, I click, and this one is going to be a little more detailed. So we have an entire page breaking down closed sales, and we have it breaking everything down month by month. We also have those trends for the last 4 or 5 years in a bar graph. Your cash sales has an entire page dedicated. There are also economist notes. Okay, cash sales as percentage of closed sales, median sale price, average sale price, dollar volume, median percent of original list price received, median time to contract, median time to sale, new pending sales, new listings, inventory of active listings, month supply, closed sales by sale price, right? And everything is broken down. And as you can see, the reason why it's called a detailed report is because you have a little more information here than you did on the previous report I showed you. So you have your summary reports and your detailed reports, again, broken down by single family, and then townhouses and condos together for each of the 5 counties in our MLS. And then of course we have the infographics over here on the right again. Under Stats Archive, maybe you want to go look at a previous month, maybe you want to see it quarterly. We do release the information quarterly, and then at the end of the year, we supply an annual report. So for example, Q1 is already here, which is the first quarter, the first 3 months. We have here the end of 2020. So this is the annual report for 2020. If I click on year 2020, I'm then going to be able to see, again, Dade County. You've got a summary and a detailed report for the annual. You've got the breakdown for townhouses and condos. And I can then pull these reports and analyze the annual report that's released at the end of every year. Okay, so we do not only release these market stats on a monthly basis, we're also releasing quarterly reports and then an annual report once the year closes out. Okay, this is all based off of our market stats here for our MLS. Now we also have some international information for you. So if I go back to news and I just click on that button, on the right-hand side, you see how it says international research. There's a 2020 Florida International Real Estate Profile, and there's a 2020 International Profile. And then for 2019, there's a profile of international transactions. But I want to look at these 2 specifically. If I click on the first one, okay, this is provided by Florida Realtors in conjunction with National Association of Realtors, and it is focused on the international transactions in the state of Florida, just the state of Florida. So here's your table of contents, right? And if I scroll down, here are the highlights. So here are Florida's top 5 foreign buyers: Canada, Brazil, Venezuela, Argentina, Colombia. Top 5 destinations for these buyers: Miami, Fort Lauderdale, West Palm Beach. We're at the top of the list. Okay, and you've got some nice highlights here. And there's an entire breakdown. It's 36 pages. You can analyze this so that you can understand those global markets and those global buyers. The other report is the 2020 International Profile Report. And this one is focused on the country, and it is provided by National Association of Realtors. So you have one report that focuses on the state of Florida and one report that focuses on the country. Okay. And again, top 5 destinations for these foreign buyers. Florida's at the top of the list. Okay, so I wanted to point out to you that if you come to news, you have those market stats over here, you have the video that I showed you and the infographics, and you also have the international reports. Now we have this 2021 Q1 cross market demand. This is provided by realtor.com. It's a widget. You can select the state, you can select the county, and you'll see here top viewing counties. Okay, international views, views from other states, views from within the state, which is pretty interesting. Okay, so you can go ahead and you can use any of the states and any of the counties in those states, and you can analyze what's going on there as well. Okay, those were your global markets with the international reports, and then just a little bit more about what's going on nationally using that realtor.com widget. Let's go ahead and let's switch over to SunStats. So when you log into your gateway, and remember from our website, you have login with the Miami Gateway right up at the top. Here's your Miami Gateway. And then here on the Miami Gateway, you should have a link to Florida SunStats. So let me show you what that looks like. I'm already logged into mine. So I'm making sure to highlight it. You have SunStats up towards the top. You should be able to click on it and it should launch SunStats. When you log in for the first time, it might ask you for your market, but you can always change it. So Florida Realtors SunStats, you can get there from your gateway, or you can also visit sunstats.floridarealtors.org. Just understand that when you go to log in, your ID number is going to be different from your license number. So just keep that in mind. The first thing you should do here is set up your information. So up at the top where it says settings, I'm going to click and I can add in my geographic areas, which would be my markets. I can add in my name. And if I have any certifications or designations, I can go ahead and I can add those in. So for example, I've got the PSA, BE Pro, and I also have at home with diversity, right? I can add in all of my certifications, designations. The organization is going to be your office address, your cell phone number, your email, and then you can upload your picture and your logo. When you're done, you're going to go ahead and click on Save Settings. Okay, now I go back to the dashboard. On the dashboard, because I had selected Coral Gables as my market, what I see immediately on the dashboard is going to be statistics for Coral Gables. So the stats that we provide on our website are county-wide, right? We give you everything broken down by the 5 counties that we have in our MLS. When you go to Florida SunStats, you can break it down even further and you can analyze it by city. So what I would do is set up those markets. And again, let's say I work Coral Gables and Brickell, I can go ahead and change and I can say, let me look at Brickell, or actually they don't do Brickell, it would be zip code 33130, okay? And then I can say condos and apply, and I would see the information. You can do zip code or you can do city. So I can go ahead and I can see that information. Again, I'm going to see May 2021 compared to May 2020, the percentage of change, and then a little line graph just to give me an idea of, is it going up? Is it going up and down? Just a little visual. It's a lot of the same information that you see when you look at our market stats countywide, and that's been done on purpose. It's been organized the same way just to make it really easy for everyone to understand and break down. Now, what's really interesting and what I like about SunStats more than the dashboard is the chart builder. Okay, so the chart builder is going to allow you to fine tune this a little bit more. So on the left-hand side, I can select from my areas, or I can type in a city or a zip code and focus on it that way, right? So one of my markets that I had entered was Coral Gables. From the metrics, you can look at active inventory, average sale price, cash sales, closed sales, etc. Right? As you can see, quite a bit. So I can really drill into a specific stat. You can select all property types, single family, townhouses, condos. You can have the information displayed by month, by quarter, or by year. You can set your date range. You can decide to display the year percentage change, right? So I'm going to go ahead and select that, and you can include 0 on the vertical axis, which is for the line graph. Under advanced options, you can drill down to specific price ranges, specific sale types, and then compare by geographic area, property type, sale type, etc. you click on apply, and it is going to take the information you just supplied, and it is going to create a line graph for you. Beneath the line graph, you're going to have a table. And again, because I asked for May 2019 to May 2021, and I wanted it broken down by month, I see everything going back to June or right before. And I can actually download this, and I can include it again in my reports. I can post it, what have you. So if I download it, I use the download option here. It's going to download this information. I'm going to go ahead and open this. Let me make sure that you guys can see it though. So let me make sure I'm sharing this. There we go. So you get this little line graph that you can then post, or you can include in your presentations or your newsletters. But if I go back to Google Chrome, if you download it with branding, it's going to take that information you supplied in the settings, and it is going to add it to it. Okay, so it's going to be branded with your information, which is nice. Here it is. Let me share it. There you go. Okay, so it's that same line graph, but now it is branded with your information. And again, you can include it in your reports, in your listing presentations, your newsletters, posted on social media, wherever you may need it. It is here for you. So you can go ahead and, let's say you wanted to analyze a market somewhere else. We have a lot of agents who work in other areas outside of Southeast Florida. Let's say you wanted to look at, let's look at Tampa. So we can look at the city of Tampa. We can look at what's going on with the closed sales for all property types. Maybe this one I want to see it organized quarterly. You have your price range, all sale types, and then comparisons. I click apply, and now I have the same information, but just for Tampa. And it's broken down by quarter, so it looks a little different than what we had seen previously. Okay, so you can come in here and you can look at what we've supplied, which is county-wide. And then if you want to drill down into a specific city or zip code, you can go ahead and use SunStats. You can also jump into Matrix and drill down that way. So when you use Matrix, again, it's going to be using data from RMLS. Let me go ahead and jump into Matrix. And you can drill down on your area using the market reports that we have, or using some of the stats that you have in stats. So specifically what we're going to go through here in Matrix is we're going to go through the 1004 MC, which is the market conditions report. We're going to go through the stats. We're going to go through some production reports, and then I want to show you how to use the market watch and hot sheets. So I'm going to make sure to put those up here so that they're front and center when we work on them. Okay. All right. So let's talk about the 1004 MC, which is market conditions. When you see on your menu options all the way to the right, when you see market reports, you can click. And as you can see, you have quite a few options. But we're going to start with the market conditions 1004 MC. And again, this is using our MLS data. When you use the market report, this specific market report is going to give you data for the last year. Okay, it won't go any further than that. But we can go ahead and we're going to say active and closed sales, and we're going to say those closed sales for the last 365 days. And then you can specify your property type. So let's say my market is single family, and I had used Dade previously. So let's use some cities in Broward, or we can use the entire county of Broward, but that might be a little too much. So let's focus on, let's say, Weston, Southwest Ranches, and Davie. Okay, so you can list multiple cities, just use a comma between each one. You can list multiple zip codes, area numbers, etc. You can even focus down on price range. Again, you can focus down on properties of a specific size by using bedrooms, bathrooms, square footage, etc. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to click on generate report. And I'm going to give it a second to load the information. There we go. All right, so I selected 3 cities. You can select just one. You don't have to select all 3. I'm going to go ahead and zoom in on this. Let me close this so that it's out of the way. All right, so what are we looking at here? First of all, it's branded with your information as long as your header and footer have been set up correctly. And we do that with you in Matrix X101. Then beneath that, you've got the summary of criteria that you use to pull this report. So we have on the left-hand side, just the breakdown and description for each line item. And then on the right, as you move toward the right, you have a column dedicated for the prior 7 to 12 months. And in parentheses, it's telling you June of 2020 through December of 2020, prior 4 to 6 months, which is December 2020 to March 2021. And then the current time period, which is the last 3 months, which would be from March to now. You have the total number of comparable sales. So how many sales occurred in that time period? So if we look just at the most recent time period, right? Because things change so quickly and so drastically. The other time periods are here for you to compare, but we're going to look at the most recent time period. So I'm looking at this right here. Okay. So from March to now, we've had 620 single family sales in those 3 cities that I listed. The absorption rate is 206.67. Where does that come from? If you look in parentheses, it tells you that it's the total number of sales divided by the months. So in this case, what they did for absorption rate is they took the 620 sales that occurred in that 3-month time period and they divided it by 3. And when you do that, you get the 206.67. Total number of comparable active listings. Those are active listings. They're still active. They have not sold. There's 262. And then after that, you have your months of housing supply. And in parentheses, it tells you it's the listings divided by the absorption rate. So they take these listings, they divide it by the absorption rate, and then you end up with the months of inventory, or housing supply, which is in this case 1.27. So this is very much so, it's a seller's market. Remember what I mentioned earlier. If it's 0 to 6 months, it's a seller's market. If it's 6 to 9, it's balanced. And if it's 9 or more, it's a buyer's market. Okay. Let's go ahead and run another one. Okay, so I did one for Broward. Let's go back to Dade and let's look at condos. So again, active closed sales 0 to 365. We're going to say condos. I'm going to go ahead and say in 33130, which is one of the zip codes for Brickell. And I'm going to get rid of all these cities. Okay, so I'm looking at condos in that zip code. I click generate report. All right. And let's zoom in. Again, branded with your information at the top. You have the summary of criteria right beneath that. And then you have your line items and you have your information. So this time, let's go ahead and look at the bottom portion, right? We already understand how the top works, how many sales occurred, what the absorption rate is, which is the sales divided by the 3-month time period, number of comparable active listings, and then that housing supply, which is the inventory, is going to take those active listings and divide them by the absorption rate. Okay, let's go ahead and look at the bottom portion. Median comparable sale price. The median comparable sale price is $360 for this most recent time period. The time period right before that, which was December of 2020 to March of 2021, it was at $340. So we've seen a $20,000 increase in the median sale price. The median comparable sales, DOM is days on market. Okay, so right now, they're on the market 64 days. Those sales were on the market 64 days. Time period before that, 67, so a slight change. But the 6 months before that, 92. So we've seen a big change in the last year from 92 days on the market before they would sell to 64. The comparable list price. The list price is for those listings only, which means they haven't sold. Those are those active listings. They're $550, right? And if the median sale price is $360, then maybe these haven't sold yet due to a pricing issue. The comparable listing days on market for those active listings only is 88 days. So they're there longer. And again, it's probably because of pricing. Median sale price, median list price percentage, meaning of what they asked for, and this is list price, not original price, they got 96% of what they were asking for. Okay, as compared to the prior 4 to 6 months, they got 95.7, and then 7 to 12 months, 93.15. So we've seen an increase. They're getting more of what they're asking for. Okay, so we did one example with single family. We did one example with condos. Let's do another one. Let's say I wanted to look at an area around a subject property. Okay, so I have an address and it is a single family. So what you would do is select single family, and instead of using zip code or instead of using cities or the county, you would use the map search. So let's say I want to see what's going on within a mile of a subject property. I'm going to select a mile from the dropdown and I'm going to plug in the address. There it is. And I'm going to go ahead and say generate report. And if the property has 3 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, you can do the same thing. You can look at similar properties that way as well. And so now I can sit down and I can tell my customer or my potential seller, this is what's going on within a mile of your property, right? They're selling at 516. They're on the market 6 days. So they're selling quickly and they're listed originally at 579. So we're going to see, right? And we're going to talk to them and have this conversation, or maybe just for your own knowledge. But my point is that you can have these conversations with your potential customers or your customers as long as you are okay with it and you can explain it to them. But sometimes you just need this information for yourself, but it is more than okay to share it with your consumer. Okay. So we ran a few of the market reports, the 1004 MC. Let's go ahead and let's talk about your stats. Okay. So I'm going to go to stats now. Up at the menu bar, stats, I'm going to click. Anything that you see under system presets are basically defaults that are always there from Matrix, and anything listed under my presets would be things that you've saved. So as you can see, I have quite a few that I've saved. So you can tailor it for yourself. Now under system presets, you have AVOM versus list price median, which is your average days on market versus your list price median. Historic count of active listings, historic sales by year, historic sales price trends, historic sales versus the price range, list price per square foot, your historic sales price trends, original price versus sold price, and the sale price versus the list price ratio. So I can come in here and I can say, let me look at the count of active listings, and my market is, let's say, condos in Hollandale. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to specify condos, and then in type of property, condo. And then I'm going to use the city of Hallandale Beach, right? And so I'm asking to see the historic count of active listings for condos. And I specified from condo, co-op, villa, townhouse, just condos in type of property in the city of Hallandale. On the left-hand side, there's a blue button that says generate. I can click on generate. There we go. And so if Hallandale condos are my market, I can see exactly what's going on with the history of active listings. So this is a line graph, but up at the top, it says search, which will take me back to those fields that we were using, chart, which is this line graph, and then data. If I click on data, I get a table with the exact numbers. And now I can see that condos in Hallandale, there are currently 569 active listings for the month of June, but a year ago we had 921. So I can look at those trends and I can start to analyze those trends. These can be printed and they can be emailed. So on the left-hand side, you have a little icon for a printer. And once you click on print, you can also save it as a PDF on your computer. It gives me the line graph. If you also would like the table, at the bottom of the screen, it says show tabular data. You click and now you get your line graph on your table. And then you can go ahead and click on print, which allows you to physically print it or save it as a PDF. You can also email this. So I can click on the envelope. Who am I going to send this to? Do I want to include the table? Here I would have to check off this option. You have the choice between English and Spanish. Here's the subject, your email body, and then you can send it off. Okay. So for the stats that you pull here in this section of Matrix, you can email, you can save it on your computer or on your device, and you can also print it out. Let's look at another one. So let's say, sticking to Hollandale condos, let's say I now want to look at the original price versus the sold price. I can go ahead and click on original price versus sold price. I can again specify condo, and then I can say in the city of Hollandale. Okay. There we go. I click generate. And now I have a bar graph with the original price versus the sold price. Again, if I click on data in the top right corner, I can now also see the original price versus the sale price. June still hasn't closed out yet, but if I look at May, they were originally listed at 296.5 and they were selling at 245. Okay. Again, I can print this, I can email it, I can include it in my presentations, make it part of my newsletters. The data is here for you to use however you would like to use it, to share it with your customers. Now, let's say I wanted to customize this a little bit more. What I can do is I can say, let me look at let's look at historic sales. Okay, so let's look at historic sales by year. And let's go ahead and say single family and single. And I'm going to look at the entire county, so Miami-Dade County. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and click on generate. And I'm going to see this little spaghetti graph, right? This line graph. If I click on data, I'm going to see that it goes only through 2020, but we're already halfway through 2021. So what if I wanted that data as well? Well, on the left-hand side, you'll notice that it says presets, which is what we've been working with. But if you click on customize, you can then tailor those presets a little bit. So right now, it's only giving me through 2020, but I want year to date. So I want through 2021. The statistic, right now it's the sales, the number of sales. The chart, you can change the chart if you want. You can add in a secondary statistic. You can group it by month, by year, include prior years. How many of those years? 5, you can go back to 9. And then if you go to style options, you can even change the color palette if you wanted to. So if you have a color scheme for your office or for your branding, you can go ahead and you can say, all right, let me use bright pastel. Okay. And I click on generate. When I go to chart, color scheme has changed now. When I go to data, I have 2021. And I can see so far what we've had of 2021, we've had January through June. So I'm going to see January through June for the last 5 or 6 years so that I can compare. Okay. Now, again, you can print this, you can email it. What if I wanted to save this? Next to customize, it says save. And what I would do here is I would name it. So this was for Miami-Dade County single family sales by year. And then if you have or use Matrix in Spanish, you can name everything in English and Spanish. I'm just going to leave it the same for now. And then at the bottom, it says save search criteria with preset. What that means is if I save it right now using save a copy, it's going to save all of the fields and all of those modifications I made in customize. If I save it with criteria, it's going to save it with the fact that I filled in single family in Miami-Dade County. So you can either save this as a preset with no criteria saved in the fields, or you can check off save search criteria with preset, which would save your criteria as well. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to save a copy to show you what that looks like. Okay, so here it is. And I named it Miami-Dade County single family sales by year. However, let me go back to the dashboard and then go back to stats. When I click on it, because I did not save it with the criteria, if you notice, my fields are blank. Okay, so when you save it this way without saving the criteria, it saves the formatting, but it saves it without the criteria, and then I can fill everything in. So what happens if I want to save it with the criteria? I can say, you know, I can fill it in. So let's say I want to use one of these again. Let's look at the sales price trend. And I'm going to say single family, Dade County, specify single. I click generate. Okay, I go to data. Again, through 2016, not what I want. Okay, all the way through 2021, awesome. Maybe I don't want all the way to 2011. I can go to customize and I can say I don't want the past 10 years, I want the past 5 years. Sale price, the median. Again, you can go to style options, change the colors. Click on generate just to recalibrate everything. And now instead of the last 10 years, I have just the last 5. I go to the chart. Okay, perfect. Now I want to save this. I go to save. I'm going to name it. And I'm going to save it with the criteria. Save a copy. Okay, so what's the difference? We saved this one without the criteria saved, so the fields are blank. Whereas the historic sales price trend right here, we saved it with criteria. And if I give it a second, it'll load. Okay. So you can save it with or without the criteria. That's entirely up to you. What I was saying is that with Market Watch, what I'm seeing here is what's occurred in the entire MLS. But if I'm an agent that's working in Coral Gables, or if I'm an agent that's only working in certain markets, let's say I work that Weston, Southwest Ranches, Davie area, the entire MLS is not what I'm interested in. It's not what I want to see. Okay. So what I would do is I would customize this. I can then customize by property type. So remember that your RE1, RE2 are going to be your residential sales. Your RLD is residential land. RIN is residential income. RNT is residential rental, etc. So if I'm an agent that works primarily residential sales, I may never customize those other options. But I am going to want to customize that RE1, RE2 because I want to see at a glance using these color-coded bar graphs what's going on in my market. So again, using the Coral Gables single family as an example, I can say I work in Coral Gables and I want to see what's going on there. I click on customize and I can say single family single. I can say in the city of Coral Gables. And if I want to specify price range, you can also add in additional fields. I'm going to go ahead and just ask for what's going on with single family in the city of Coral Gables. I click on save. If you notice, my bar graph looks very different now. So when I go through, it's now focused on single family, RE1, last 7 days, city of Coral Gables. There's no coming soon. There's 13 new. There's 2 that are back on the market, 7 price decreases, no price increases, right? And I can click on these and actually see them. So for those of you that are always interested in seeing what's new, you can go ahead and you can say, let me see what's happened in the last 24 hours. I come in here and I see there's 2 new listings in the last 24 hours. I click and I'm going to see those listings. Okay. So this is going to focus now on those Coral Gables single family. Well, what if I'm an agent that works sales and rentals in an area like Brickell? Well, if I work sales and rentals, I'm going to go ahead and click on customize, right? And in Brickell, let's say I work condos. And there are 3 zip codes for Brickell. So I'm going to go ahead and put those in. And I'm going to save. So this is what's going on with condo sales because I specified condos in those 3 zip codes. And I can see what's happened in the last 24 hours. So in the last 24 hours, there have been 16 new listings and 7 closed sales. Well, I also work rentals. I want to see what's going on there. I can go to the drop down, switch to residential rental, click on customize, and repeat the process. So now I'm going to say condos in 33129, 33130, 33131. I click on save, and now I see residential rentals. I want to go back to sales. I go to the drop down. I click on the sales. So now I can see what's going on with sales and rentals in the market that I work. Now, hot sheets are a little different. Let me go ahead and just reset this so that you can see what it looks like. Okay, this is normally what hot sheets look like. Hot sheets, the way I like to explain them, they're saved searches that are meant specifically for you as an agent. We have saved searches for the customers, and we might even have saved those as favorites, and we see them in the widget titled My Favorite Searches. But hot sheets are specifically for the agent, or in an area that maybe you're really keeping an eye on for a customer. But this is going to be something that allows you to click and go and see what's going on. I can customize it with this one. I can go back with what's new only, what's happened in the time that I've been in Matrix, the last 24 hours, today, 3 days, 7 days, or custom. We're going to go ahead and we're going to customize these hot sheets. So I'm going to click on customize, and you can actually delete all of these and just make room for only what you need. So you can click on delete, confirm, and delete all of this, right? And once you're done deleting, we're going to go ahead and create a new one. So sticking with that Brickell example, let's say that I work that Brickell area, but specifically, I'm really interested in those Axis towers. There's 2 of them, Axis North and Axis South. I'm going to click a new hot sheet, add, and then I'm going to specify, do I want to look at sales in those towers, or do I want to look at rentals in those towers? Let's look at sales. And it's going to be the Axis towers. I click on save. All I did was create a hot sheet and give it a name. I now have to add the criteria. So once you've added your hot sheet, you're going to click on edit criteria. And now you can decide, what do you want to see on this hot sheet? Do you want to see the coming soon? Do you want to see new, back on market, price decrease, price increase, active with contract? And you can actually combine. So let's say I really want to see for this building, what's new, what's back on the market, price decreases, and close sales. We're going to leave days back blank because I'm going to show you how to use the customized date field. Then in the map search, you can do a search or do a radius around a specific address. You can use a specific building address. So for the Axis towers, I could actually click on more and add in the 2 addresses for those 2 towers, or I could use the subdivision name. So I'm going to go ahead and say Axis with asterisks. So if someone had said Axis condos or Axis condominiums or Axis towers, it's going to capture everything that says Axis. And I want, maybe there's an Axis in Broward or Palm Beach. I don't want those, so I can also specify zip code. And I know that this one is in Brickell. Okay. I click on save. So now I clicked on add. I selected the property type and I named it. And then I clicked on edit criteria and I added the criteria. I click on done. And it's set to the last 7 days. I click on Axis Towers, and given the change types that I specified, it's letting me know that there are 2 new active listings and 5 closed sales that have occurred in the last 7 days. These are the 2 addresses for those condo towers. So even though I didn't know the address off the top of my head, just by asking for the subdivision of the Axis, it gives me the information. Okay, let's go back home. Let's go back to the dashboard. That's the last 7 days. What if I wanted to see further back? I can, from the drop down, instead of 7 days, select custom, click on the hot sheet, and it's going to ask me how far back I want to go. And it lets me go back 30 days. So if I want to see what's happened in the last month, I can say, show me what's happened from May 31st to today. I click on run, and this is going to give me all the activity based on the change types that I selected. So it's going to show me everything that was listed in the last month, everything that was closed in the last month. And I think I had also asked for anything that came back on the market, any price decreases. If I don't see the information here, that just means that it didn't happen in the last month. So sometimes you'll click on a hot sheet and it doesn't pull anything, and that's because maybe based off of the change types that you selected, nothing has occurred in that time period. Okay, so the hot sheets and the market watch are another way for you to get that market information and those market stats. Okay, the last program we're going to jump into is RPR. So I'm going to go back to the dashboard, right? And then I can click on RPR, which is down here. If you have not activated RPR, please do so. And also keep in mind that we have RPR classes. So we're going through a lot of information today, and that's because this class, we're assuming that you've already done all the matrix classes, and so you're comfortable with matrix, and that you've done all the RPR classes. So we're going in to complete specific tasks, whereas in the other matrix classes and RPR classes, we focus a lot on the basics and we work from the ground up. So if you haven't checked those classes out, please sign up for them, or we have recordings. Check out our YouTube channel. We have recordings of all of that. But let's go ahead and talk about RPR. Specifically, they do have some market stats here, okay? And they call it the neighborhood report. So there's a neighborhood report and an activity report. Sometimes you need statistics to understand the population that lives in an area, right? Sometimes you need the statistics of what's happening with properties. What you're gonna do is, they've recently redesigned RPR. Under research, you have property search, map search, etc. But you have a neighborhood search, okay? And then you have residential market activity. So let's look at the neighborhood search. Let's say I need to understand the people who live in that area. I can go ahead and I can plug in a city. So let's say I'm looking at Weston. I'm trying to use Dade and Broward examples, and I'm trying to jump around. But let's say I'm looking at Weston, and I want to look at exactly Weston or within Weston or nearby. I'm going to say exact. You have your max median estimated value, and this is going to search that area, right, and give you those listings. So let's say I'm looking for properties with median estimated value at least 400,000. I go back and it should pull it, okay? But let's say I want to know more about the people in that area. I'm going to go ahead and just say Weston, Florida. It's limiting my results. Not worried about that. I'm going to click on any of these properties, and I'm going to click on neighborhood. Okay, I'm going to show you another way to get to it too. But once you get to neighborhood, you're going to have the summary of that neighborhood, estimated value, the change in that value in the last month, in the last 12 months. You're going to have line graphs that compare that city to that county, the state, and the country. You can go back 1, 2, or 3 years, median sales price versus sales price volume. It has all this information, housing information. It has people. I'm waiting for housing to load. And then I can take this and pull a report and include that report, again, in my presentations and my newsletters, or just for my own knowledge and understanding. So housing facts, median estimated home value, list price, price range of the home sold. And let's say I want to understand that demographic. I go to people, and it's going to tell me age range. It's going to tell me married versus single. It's going to tell me the age range of children in that area. So it's still loading. I'm giving it a second. So population, population density, education levels, population of children by age, mostly middle school students, population of adults by age, mostly 35 to 54, households with children, so married with children, married without children, single with children, household income brackets, occupational categories, and then presidential voting patterns. You can also see the economy, which is going to give you like unemployment rates, and quality of life is going to give you like walkability scores, which just means how close are things, are they within walking distance? But in South Florida, we commute to a lot of things. There we go. So income per capita, household income, unemployment rate, unemployment number, labor force. Okay, unemployment rate. And then in quality of life, you have that walkability score that I mentioned. Now, they're getting all of this data from the census and from Esri. Okay, this is quality of life. It's going to include commute time, how people get to work, temperatures, and then they changed from walkability to a livability index. And if you click on about this data, it is letting you know a little bit more. So this specifically is coming from AARP. RPR is very transparent about where they get their information. So their livability score is based off of housing, neighborhood, transportation, environment, health, engagement, and opportunity. It's going to range from 0 to 100. And it's letting you know that AARP scores communities by comparing them to one another. So the average community gets a score of 50, while above average communities will score higher and below average communities will score lower. And then they have more information linked here. So this area gets a 51. They're about average. Okay, now if I wanted this in a report, or let's say I didn't want to go look for properties and then go to neighborhood, maybe I just wanted the neighborhood report directly. What you can do is from the home screen, click on reports, click on neighborhood report. And then up here, it's going to ask for a neighborhood, city, zip code. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to use that Weston example that I had just used, right? So we're going to look for Weston, Florida. We want that property, that neighborhood report. If you click on this plus symbol, maybe you don't want all of this. Maybe all you want is to know about the economic stats and charts, or maybe you just want a combination. You can remove check marks and get rid of things that you don't want included in your report. And then you can click on run report. Now remember, we tell you this in our PR classes, the reports that you run will be up here under my reports, and they will only be there for 30 days, at which point they will be deleted. So please make sure that you have saved a copy of it before it gets cleared out of your RPR account. So this is going to run the report. Now you also have market activity, right? So I can, instead of running a neighborhood report, click on market activity. And for market activity, it's going to give you market snapshots, estimated home values, the 12-month change in those values, the concentration of distressed properties, sales price, list price. You're going to get a summary of market stats, market activity property details, and then here you can specify, do you want to see market activity for the last 3 days, the last week, the last month, 6 months, or 3 months? I'm going to say the last week. Do you want to include sales and leases? What change types do you want to see? Oh, my report is ready. What change types do you want to see? I've selected new listings, let's say price change, closed sales. And you can select them all or select a few. Residential property types, maybe all I'm interested in is single family. Again, select 1, 2, a few, all of them. You can even specify sales price, lease price, beds, baths. I'm just going to blank it all out. And then how many properties do I want to see per change? So how many of those new listings do I want to see? How many of those price changes? I limit it to 10. You can go all the way to 50. How do you want the property sorted? I have it sorted by those that have been recently updated. And then I can click on run report. While that report runs, because it does take a few minutes, I'm going to go ahead and open the neighborhood report. Okay, this is the neighborhood report. It's 12 pages. It's all of that information that we had seen previously, but just in a PDF. Okay, make sure you've updated your profile so that on that cover sheet, your picture is there and all your info. But it's all of the information that I had shown you in the neighborhood section, all the different tabs, but it's in a PDF. And then I can download this, again, include it in my presentations, talk about it in a newsletter. Okay, take screenshots of certain portions and share it on social media. You can delete the report from here. You can post it to Facebook. It's going to post a link to the entire 12-page report. And then you can rerun the report if for whatever reason you just want a more updated version. My market activity report should be almost ready. There it is. And so this is the market activity for Weston. That's the example I used. Here is the estimated home value with those changes. Here is the changes over the last year, distressed properties and the concentration of distressed properties, right? So everything for the market activity is here. And then you have 10 new listings, 6 price changes, 10 closed. Here are the 10 new listings. Here are the 6 price changes. And here are the 10 closed sales. And then a little explanation of RPR and what RPR is. So you do have those reports in RPR on the residential side that you can use to understand that market and or the people. However, on the commercial side, and you might not think about using it, but on the commercial side, there's a report that actually benefits all real estate agents, commercial and residential. It's one of my favorite reports in RPR. If you switch over to commercial, so on the left-hand side, there's a little button, toggle over to commercial. You're not going to notice much of a difference on the screen, so make sure that you just take a peek and that it says commercial. When you go to the reports, okay, and you click on, I'm just going to click on one. It's called the trade area report, okay? The trade area report. So let's say I want to know more about the people who live in Weston. So using Weston as an example, I'm going to go up here and make sure that at the very top, it would help if I could spell it. There we go, Weston. Awesome. And then I'm going to make sure to select the trade area report. They have something called Tapestry Segments, which are really interesting. And I'm going to go ahead and run the report. So what these Tapestry Segments do is, this is coming from Esri. Esri is a Fortune 500 company that specifies or is focused on data collection. And then they organize that into recognizable patterns for different areas. So in this situation, what they've done is they figured out what kind of people live in these areas and what their behaviors are and what the pattern is for those behaviors. And this is important for you to understand, A, for marketing purposes, right? So if I work that market, I need to understand that some markets, some of these tapestries, some of these consumer segments prefer things, let's say in print. So I need to get them a postcard or a business card. Some of them prefer digital methods. So maybe I need to advertise on Facebook. It all depends on how they behave. Okay, so let's open up this report. So for the area of Weston, it's telling you the median household income, the median age is 39. There's 68,000 people, and the dominant segment is called professional pride. If I scroll down, they're going to give me the top segments. Professional pride, which is 30% of the population. Boom burbs, which is 19. Esri came up with these names, and I think they are highly entertaining. Soccer moms, top tier, and city lights. Now, if I keep scrolling down, they're going to give me an entire page of information for each of these segments. So if I look between professional pride, boombergs, and soccer moms, that's half the population there, right? 30, 20. Well, actually, between professional pride and boombergs, I've got half the population right here, right? So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to read about them and see what they like to do, what the patterns in their behavior have been, so that I know how to market myself to them. Right? So who are these professional pride consumers? They're educated professionals. They prospered through the Great Recession. They like upscale suburban lifestyles when commuting. They work or they commute long hours. Their schedules are fine-tuned to meet the needs of their school-age children. They are financially savvy, right? And I've got this nice little breakdown. What I always find super interesting is what they list under the market profile. Okay, so specifically for this segment, they're frequent travelers. They take several domestic trips a year. They take pride in their picture-perfect homes, which they continually upgrade. They shop at Home Depot, Bed Bath & Beyond. So maybe I need to go to the Home Depots and the Bed Bath & Beyond stores in Weston, and I need to start maybe leaving some flyers there or leaving, some ads up around that area. Let's see, they've also got insurance, they've got 401ks, they spend on credit but have disposable income, they have busy schedules but they work out in home gyms, they have at least a treadmill or an elliptical, and they also visit the salon and spa regularly. So again, maybe I need to go to those salons and spas in Weston, leave business cards, flyers, etc. All family members are avid readers. They read on their smartphones, tablets, e-readers, but they also read hard copies. Residents are both young and old. They're tech savvy. So maybe not only do I need to go to those businesses and market myself there, but maybe I need to also look into some digital marketing on Google, on Facebook, on Instagram, etc. The second largest segment, they drive imported vehicles. They like the latest technology. Style matters. They garden. Physical fitness is a priority. So I'm seeing that I need to go to Home Depot, Lowe's. I need to market myself in those areas. I need to go to the salons, the spas, the gyms, market myself there. And then I need to maybe run a few digital ads, because that's what the consumers in this area, that's what their behavior has displayed. That's the pattern that's been noticed there. Okay, so that's in RPR commercial. and it's specifically called the Trade Area Report, which is great for both residential and commercial. Okay, and with that, I believe we have reached the end of market stats using Matrix, RPR, and more. So we started off with the market stats you have on our website. If you go to news or sfmarketintel.com, we transitioned into SunStats from Florida Realtors. From there, we went into Matrix, where we discussed the channel 4MC. We discussed the stats tab, how to save your own presets, and then we also discussed production and ranking reports, as well as the market watch and the hot sheets. And then we finished up with RPR, where we did a neighborhood report, we did a market activity report, and then we went into the commercial side and we did that trade area report that lets us know more about those consumers. Thank you so much for attending today's class. Thank you so much for being Miami members. I hope you all have a wonderful day. And if you have any questions, feel free to email your trainers at miamire.com. Have a great day, guys.